Hi, thank you for watching this video. My name is Araxi. I'm a pastry chef with many years of experience, and today I'm going to show you the recipe for a delicious meringue roll. Right now, I'll be commenting on a video I prepared in advance because I realized that while cooking, I might miss some important details. So let's get started. You'll need 250 grams of fine sugar, 200 grams of egg whites, 25 grams of cornstarch, a pinch of salt, and a pinch of citric acid. Please don't pay attention to any inconsistencies in the measurements, the color of the cream, or other details, because while recording and editing this video, I had to make this meringue several times if a shot didn't turn out well. I probably made this meringue about 7 times, if not more. In the bowl where we'll be whipping the meringue, add the egg whites, a pinch of salt, and a pinch of citric acid. Yes, it's important that the egg whites are at room temperature. This way, they'll whip up more stably and give the right structure. The salt and citric acid will help strengthen the egg white foam. I'm using a KitchenAid. You can use whatever mixer you have, whether it's a hand mixer or a stand mixer. The most important thing is to start whipping at a low speed. This will allow the egg whites to gradually absorb air and create small, stable bubbles. Once the egg whites have loosened up a bit, I start gradually adding the sugar, 1 spoonful at a time. You need to do this very slowly so that the sugar crystals dissolve completely and the mixture becomes smooth and glossy. After all the sugar has been added, I increase the mixer speed and continue whipping. With my KitchenAid, this process typically takes about 3 minutes, and I set the speed to 10. I check if it's ready by looking for the beak. This mixture should be dense, but at the same time pliable, not brittle. Snow white, smooth and glossy. Dense, yet soft and elastic, not dry. The peaks are stable, as you can see in the video, with a soft tip. The sugar is completely dissolved. You can rub it between 2 fingers to make sure there are no grains left. At this point, I add the starch, and I gently fold it in by hand with folding motions, so as not to damage the structure or deflate the egg whites. Here's what the starch does. Thanks to the starch, the crust turns out slightly crispy, while the center stays soft and elastic, like marshmallow. And because of the starch, the roll doesn't break when you roll it up. Then I transfer the meringue onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and start smoothing it out. Here, it's important to pay attention to the surface. The smoother the layer, the neater your roll will be. After smoothing it out, we put the meringue into a preheated convection oven at 130 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. I use an internal thermometer to make sure of the temperature. All right, while the base is baking, I'll start making the cream. First, I weigh out 60 grams of powdered sugar. The next ingredient I add is 250 grams of mascarpone cheese. Remember, mascarpone is a very delicate and finicky cheese. If you whip the cheese too vigorously, it can easily separate, so work at a low speed and always keep an eye on the texture. The mixture should stay uniform, smooth, and silky. Next, I add heavy cream with 35% fat content, 200 grams and 2 teaspoons of instant coffee. Off camera, I also added 2 teaspoons of alkalized cocoa powder. I bring the cream to the desired consistency, but leave it a bit soft. I'll also gently finish working the cream by hand, folding it carefully. I line a rack with parchment paper so I can transfer the hot base from the oven onto it, making it easier to roll up later. I forgot to mention that it's actually easy to tell when the meringue is ready. There should be a firm crust on top that springs back slightly when pressed. And most importantly, don't let it dry out too much, or the roll will crack when you try to roll it up. Another important point, the parchment paper should peel off the layer easily. Here, it's all about balancing the dryness of the surface with the moisture of the layer. Keep in mind that when you remove the parchment, the base might break in some spots, especially at the corners where the layer was thin. That's absolutely normal, and in fact, it gives the rolled cake a special kind of beauty. I let the layer cool completely, so the cream spreads evenly and doesn't melt. Now I transfer the cream into a piping bag and use a spatula to gently push the mixture toward the edge. This is necessary to remove excess air and avoid large bubbles. It also helps the cream fill the bag tightly, making it easier to work with. I always cut the tip of the piping bag about 1 inch, or roughly 2 centimeters. This way, the cream comes out in an even strip, all the same thickness, and the piping looks neat. I spread a thin layer of cream over the surface of the meringue. Such a layer helps preserve the tenderness and flexibility of the roll. In this shot, the color of the cream is different from what I showed earlier because I added alkalized cocoa to this cream. Carefully roll the sheet into a log, pressing it gently. You need to do this slowly and carefully so you don't break it. I transfer the remaining cream into a piping bag fitted with a Saint Honoré tip and start decorating our meringue roll. You can use any piping tip you like, or simply decorate with any berries. As I previously mentioned, I'm carefully decorating with a classic Saint Honoré tip, then gently dusting a little rich, alkalized cocoa powder on top, and finishing with delicate, thin streaks of melted dark chocolate. And with that, our meringue roll is ready. Look how beautiful and appetizing it turned out. I also want to show you another version of the roll without cocoa. Our delicious meringue roll is ready. Enjoy your meal. With that, I'll say goodbye for now. See you in the next videos, and for Instagram users, I'll leave a link in the description.